We're in the gate. And they're off. Innovative and Time to Shine both out alertly. Nafisa joins the fray now and takes second. Angled a bit off the inside too to come after Innovative through the opening furlong. Just in behind them, Prestige Feng Sun racing on the inside of Eastwick. Those two are stride for stride. Time to Shine, who broke well, now settles toward the back of the field. Double Cappuccino is next. Down on the inside, Church Lady, a bit tough to handle in the early stages. 5 lengths off the lead, while Keen at the back of the field are Runyon Canyon and Authentic Grace. Around the first turn, it's Ricky Gonzalez and Innovative, setting the pace while in hand. Nafisa tracks from second, 2 clear of Prestige Feng Sun at the rail in third. Then Eastwick, 4 off the pace in fourth. Church Lady has settled down a bit, fifth, a length and a half in front of Time to Shine, with Double Cappuccino just outside of her. Authentic Grace and Runyon Canyon at the back. 10 lengths covers them. Less than a half mile to go for Innovative, who's been there throughout. Leads at 3/4 of a length to Nafisa in second. Prestige Feng Sun still third. And Eastwick is right there in fourth. Then Church Lady fifth. Double Cappuccino 5 lengths off the lead. Time to Shine. Runyon Canyon is next. Just went by that rival. And 2 more to Authentic Grace. They're coming to the quarter pole. Innovative, Nafisa, Prestige Feng Sun guided to the outside by Ayuso to come after the top pair. Less than 1/8 of a mile to go. It's Innovative clinging to the lead over Nafisa, and now opening it up to a length. Nafisa second, Prestige Feng Sun third, 16th pole, and Innovative strong on the front end and will not be denied. Pulling away, in fact, to score by almost 3. Nafisa was second, Church Lady third, Runyon Canyon for fourth. And they're off. Nijinsky Halo is very fast away from the gate. Cascabel comes away in second. They're followed by Cardinal Spirit and Winds of Freedom on the outside. Panuco is next, and Eber at the back of the field. It's Nijinsky Halo taking them to the half-mile pole in front. Cascabel in close attendance to the pace second. A length and a half, Cardinal Spirit. Winds of Freedom is widest of all. Panuco is trying to come through down at the rail. Close up, only 2 lengths off the lead. And 3 clear of Haber. 3 furlongs out, Nijinsky Halo just in front. Cascabel continues to apply the heat in second. It's 2 more lengths. Winds of Freedom going after the top pair in third. Panuco still in the thick of it fourth. 3 lengths clear of Cardinal Spirit. They pass the quarter pole and turn for home. There's room for Panuco, and he takes advantage. And Panuco pounces with a furlong left to go and quickly opens up 3. Winds of Freedom moves up on the outside in second, but it's a 1-horse race. Panuco is all alone. Panuco overwhelms the competition, sprinting clear to win it by 6 lengths. Winds of Freedom finished second. Then it was a photo for third involving Nijinsky Halo. In the gate. And they're off. Little Brother Joey and right-hand rider are the first 2 out, always on key. Third, Trinidad comes away fourth. Then Momo's Kiddo, Devil in the Bluegrass. And after a very slight hesitation, El Diamante Negro is at the back of the field. They're coming to the 6 furlong pole, and it's Little Brother Joey setting the pace, leads at a length and a half. Right-hand rider in second. Trinidad loops up 3 wide third. Then always on key, 4 off the pace in fourth. Devil in the Bluegrass is next. 2 more back to Momo's Kiddo, and another 5 to El Diamante Negro. Little Brother Joey is joined and passed by Trinidad at the 5/8 pole. Trinidad, the new leader, with right-hand rider a length and a half back third. Devil in the Bluegrass between rivals in fourth. Momo's Kiddo ridden for a little bit more energy, fifth, 3 lengths off the lead, followed by Always on Key, a half dozen to El Diamante Negro. Trinidad, 3/8 of a mile from home, tries to open up on them, and Trinidad had a 2.5 length lead suddenly. Devil in the Bluegrass moves into second while under very aggressive handling. At the rail, Little Brother Joey is in third. Right-hand rider fourth, past the quarter pole, and Trinidad has a 3-length lead. Devil in the Bluegrass on the outside, and Little Brother Joey trying to come back for more at the rail. They're a furlong from the finish, and Trinidad still clear by 3, make it 4, and it's Trinidad and Kent DeSormo well on their way to victory. Trinidad outclassing the competition, wins by almost 5 lengths. Devil in the Bluegrass second, Little Brother Joey, and right-hand rider. Going in. And they're off. And Dory Miller is out quickly. Diamond Bar Gal on the far outside sprints up now to take a narrow lead. And in between horses, Ace Baby. Now Ace Baby to the front. So it's Ace Baby, Diamond Bar Gal, Free and Humble along the inside, 3 virtually across the course. Vegas Love is the gray just behind them. Dory Miller broke on top, now 3.5 off the pace. And Kitty Katana, the favorite, is last. The leader is Ace Baby, less than a half mile from home. 2-length advantage. Diamond Bar Gal has to get closer second. At the rail, Free and Humble keeping pace in third. Then it's Dory Miller, Vegas Love, 4 off the lead, 3 clear of Kitty Katana. It's Ace Baby and Diamond Bar Gal turning up the pressure. Diamond Bar Gal on even terms. Dory Miller third, Free and Humble just behind them. Then Vegas Love on the extreme outside. Kitty Katana still trails. They're at the top of the stretch. Diamond Bar Gal and Ace Baby heads apart. Dory Miller's had a dream trip and is coming after them now. It is Diamond Bar Gal just in front with a 16th to go, still handwritten. Dory Miller on the outside. Diamond Bar Gal digging in. Diamond Bar Gal proves best. Dory Miller second, Ace Baby third, photo for fourth. We're in the gate. And they're off. Begin Again is going out for the early lead, joined by Daddy's Quest, and Allen's Conquest comes away in third. They're followed by Fincairn moving through on the inside, taking that third spot. Audible Silence is fifth with 4 lengths to make up. The 2 trailers, War Council and Klimt AP. It's Begin Again. Begin Again is the clear-cut leader with 6 furlongs to run. Daddy's Quest 2 lengths back in second. They're followed by Fincairn, a close-up third, and then Audible Silence and Allen's Conquest right together, fourth and fifth, 3 clear of War Council, and 6 or 7 back to Klimt AP. They're heading to the half-mile pole, and it's Epifanio Garcia and Begin Again showing the way, in hand by a length and a half. Fincairn inching up inside Daddy's Quest. Still 4 lengths back to Audible Silence, who's fourth, just in front of Allen's Conquest. Another 2 to a hard-ridden War Council, and Klimt AP continues to trail. Begin Again sneaking away. Begin Again has a 3-length lead. Fincairn is second, and Audible Silence is starting to pick up some nice momentum in third. The others have too much to do, apparently. They're at the top of the stretch. It's Begin Again by 3. Audible Silence coming through inside of Fincairn, inside the 8th pole. Begin Again Audible Silence, Fincairn in third. Begin Again, 3-length lead with a 16th to go. Audible Silence trying to close that gap, running out of time. Begin Again, Audible Silence. It's getting close. Begin Again. Begin Again all the way. Audible Silence, game in defeat. Fincairn, Klimt AP from last into fourth. And in. And they're off. High Plains Drifter bounces out very smartly and opens up a length and a half just like that, just to graze. Now moves to engage, and Titanic Thompson is up and on the pace too. Just in behind them comes Drop the Bit, and then it's Oakley Smile racing in between horses. Bonneville Jim is in mid-pack, just 4 lengths off the lead. It's another 2. High Plains Drifter, who broke well, is now settling in mid-pack, a length in front of Big Bill. Big Notion follows him. It's another 3 back to Mav Man, who's by himself on the rail. 3 in front of Smiling Capote, and Throwing Heat is at the back of the field. Titanic Thompson doing it easily into the far turn with Just a Graze a length back second. Another length back, Brahms Mendelssohn inches closer, while 3 wide in third. Then comes Bonneville Jim by himself in fourth, followed by Oakley Smile. Drop the Bit in between horses. They're at the top of the stretch. It's Titanic Thompson with a 3-length lead, chased throughout by Just a Graze, who's closing the gap. Bonneville Jim on the outside. Brahms Mendelssohn, center of the racetrack. High Plains Drifter, and down at the rail, Big Bill is coming swiftly. Here comes Big Bill after Titanic Thompson. Titanic Thompson, Big Bill. Here's the line. Titanic Thompson held off an oncoming Big Bill, who ran lights out in his debut. High Plains Drifter finished third. Reason for that extended period of time, horses in the paddock for the second jewel of the Triple Crown at Pimlico. It's the Preakness Stakes coming up next, and it will be shown on the big screen in the infield. In the gate. And they're off. Very clean start. Wind Ribbon in the center. Mining District. Touchdown Brown is up close, and Kerry Gold comes away in fourth. And then it's King of Clubs, a close-up fifth. He's only 4 lengths off the lead as the field moves into the first turn. Royal and Rando is at the back of the field, and Shortman is just in front of him as they head to the 6 furlong pole. It will be Touchdown Brown. So Touchdown Brown gets a clear-cut advantage. Opens up 2.5 lengths. Mining District is racing in second. Wind Ribbon a clear-cut third. Kerry Gold losing ground fourth. And then it's King of Clubs in fifth, 6 lengths off the lead. Shortman is next. And Royal and Rando has tailed off some 15 lengths off the pace being set by Touchdown Brown, who cruises along to the half-mile pole. He's in hand, leading it by a length. Both Mining District and Wind Ribbon are coming after him. King of Clubs has taken fourth. He's in striking range, just 4 lengths off the lead, heading to the 3/8 pole. Shortman inches up on the inside of Kerry Gold. Royal and Rando has been far back throughout. Touchdown Brown has been there every step of the way. Mining District still 3 lengths back in second. King of Clubs aggressively ridden, trying to get to this loose leader. Touchdown Brown. Touchdown Brown has opened up 5. King of Clubs winning streak in jeopardy as the field turns for home. Touchdown Brown in front. King of Clubs trying his best. Mining District is still in front of him inside the final 1/8 of a mile. Touchdown Brown comes to the 16th pole with a 4-length lead. Mining District and Kimura closing steadily. Time running out. Touchdown Brown. Mining District coming fast. Touchdown Brown takes them all the way. Mining District second. Royal and Rando from far back to get third. King of Clubs was fourth. And they're off. A good clean start. Hawker, Daniel's Magic up close in the opening furlong, and our Bucky Charm moves up to battle for the lead. Money Makes Money gets a good spot, racing on the outside of Kangaroo Court, and Daniel's Magic, who broke well, is now 5 lengths off the lead. Then comes Mystic Spirit, Final Storm, and Yakolif. The favorite is last. Down the back stretch, and it's our Bucky Charm on the outside, and at the rail, Hawker, our Bucky Charm, trading punches into the far turn. 2 lengths back, Money Makes Money, tracking and coming after them now. Kangaroo Court is next, Daniel's Magic in 5th. Final Storm, Mystic Spirit, Yakolif still 8 lengths off the lead as the field turns from Hawker and our Bucky Charm, confronted now by Money Makes Money, and Money Makes Money coming after our Bucky Charm in the final 1/8 of a mile. Yakolif has now found a seam, and here he comes. Here comes Yakolif, who was last and is going to prove a mile the best. Yakolif and Hector Barrios wrapped up to score in dazzling fashion. Our Bucky Charm, Daniel's Magic, and in behind them was Mystic Spirit. And they're off. Atomic Drop broke alertly. Zimba Warrior is kept much closer today, and Druidic comes away in 3rd. Contrary Chieftain is not far behind. Neither is Druidic, who comes through along the inside. Then comes Nameless, who's 5 wide around the first turn. Down at the rail, it's Happy Does. King Meister, Upstart Yankee is outside of that group. And at the back of the field by himself is Crown Magic. They swing on to the backstretch, and it's Atomic Drop to set the pace. He's in front by 2 lengths. Zimbo Warrior with the red blinkers on the extreme outside. Druidic at the rail making headway, and Contrary Chieftain between those two. Kingmeister is eager. He's in mid-pack, only 3 lengths off the lead. Then comes Happy Does, Nameless. Outside of him, it is Upstart Yankee and a half dozen or so. Back to Crown Magic. Atomic Drop leads the way to the 3/8 pole. He's in front over Contrary Chieftain, who goes to engage second. Druidic has lost some ground. Zimbo Warrior outside of him. Then Kingmeister. Nameless has a lot of work to make up. Nameless is 7 lengths off the lead with a 1/4 mile to go. Atomic Drop and Contrary Chieftain. Contrary Chieftain puts his head in front. Atomic Drop is not done. 3 lengths back to Zimba Warrior, and Nameless is starting to find his best stride. In the meantime, Druidic is coming through on the rail. Druidic and Contrary Chieftain. Druidic with the momentum takes the lead close to home. It will be Druidic to beat Contrary Chieftain. Nameless was picking it up late, and Atomic Drop ran 4th. In the gate. And they're off in the Miz direction. And Lunar Impact had a beautiful beginning and now is joined by Tahini. Here's Tahini sprinting up to challenge for the lead. Just in behind them, Granny Budgie. Valence is on the far outside. On the inside comes Uncorked with the lime sleeves. She's followed by Anjan Ash, who's 5 lengths off the pace. Miss Roberts inches up inside Venganza, and Chismosa, kept off the rail, is last. Down the hill, Hector Barrios and Lunar Impact cruising along on the front end. They have it by about a length. In second is Granny Budgie moving to challenge in second. Valence is widest of all, and Tahini is down on the inside in 4th. They're followed by Venganza trying to get into contention, racing on the outside of Uncorked. Chismosa is next, followed by Anjan Ash. They're at the top of the stretch, and Lunar Impact is full of run. Coming to the 8th pole with an expanding 5-length lead on Tahini in second. Down the center, Uncorked and Venganza. They are battling for minor awards behind a tremendous comeback from Lunar Impact. Lunar Impact devastates them in the Miz direction. Uncorked was second. Venganza third. Fourth was between Anjanash and Valance. Pick 5, 1,000.
Do you remember the song Beautiful Day by U2? Well, I have it under strong authority that this morning when trainer Michael McCarthy and Jackie Umberto recently woke up, that was their ringtone, because certainly they think it's a beautiful day today after their Preakness victory yesterday. Hi, everybody. My name is Tom Quigley, VIP Player Concierge. Delighted that you decided to join us. You know why it's a beautiful day as well? Not only because I've got Larry Zap as my seminar guest, but we've got another pick six carryover, $45,000. Nobody was able to solve the riddle yesterday, so that's bad news for the players yesterday, but good news for us today. Larry, happy Sunday. Welcome to the seminar.
Glad to be here, Tom. And I'll tell you what is it about Triple Crown season that just gets the horse players or horse lovers juices flowing? I mean, we're 2 legs in, and both races have been really exciting, but I think very formful. I loved Gosker yesterday, and
a lot of people did. I missed that one.
I was so happy for Michael McCarthy, Clips, and all their partners. Coolmore's going to, I believe, stand him. And is this in a Fleet Alex situation where we're going to be talking about this race 30 years from now?
I don't think there's any question about it, Larry. Let's talk about the pedigree for journalism. He's the son of Curlin. They paid $825,000 for him at auction. We remember the dam out here. She was owned by Mr. Redham, a dam by the name of Mopetism. What's in that pedigree that kind of stamps him as a classic? Because just on the surface, I understand why they paid over $750,000 for him.
You know, Curlin is Curlin. He's become an elite sire. Period. We all know how good he is, but he's not typically a sire of younger horses, even though Good Magic was 2-year-old champion. Obviously, he couldn't be 3-year-old champion because he was in the same crop as Justify. They took turns being, and then Uncle Mo. Mike Rapoli with all his trouble getting these good horses to the Derby, he's really changed the breed with some of his purchases. And Uncle Mo is a changer in himself. And McCarthy yesterday, when he was interviewed about it, he says, well, Curlin's Curlin. He puts size, density, substance, but the athleticism, in his opinion, of this horse comes from the Uncle Mo, who we know when he was right at 2 into his 3-year-old year, he was fleet as foot. He was a really fast horse where Curlin's more of a grinder. And it's kind of no different than the old days of Northern Dancer to Mr. Prospector Cross. You want that stoutness, which is the Curlin, and you want that athleticism, which is the Uncle Mo, and both throw enough leg. In fact, Curlin, if anything, he'll throw a little under, like not as much leg, but Uncle Mo throws a lot of leg. And this, you couldn't have planned a better breeding than this, Tom. And Mr. Redham sells his good mares. He sold the mare for a little over $1 million. And the people who bought them, still stayed in. They still own a piece of this horse. Yeah, Don Alberto, who's a big commercial breeder, but they're not afraid to run. And they got a lot of partners. Obviously, Aaron Wellman is the kingpin of all this. Yesterday, though, it was in the
Bridlewood
Farms with the Apple, Mr. Appleton from back in the day. They kept that true. But it just shows you that breeding matters, and it shows you that it could be part of your even handicapping equation.
You mentioned Aaron Wellman, the head honcho at Eclipse Thoroughbred Partners. There was a great clip on Twitter where they had an after party after the victory. And not only did he toast the other owners and the trainers and the jockey, he actually made it a point to toast everybody in the barn itself, including the person who walks the horse into the winner's circle, the horse who rubs the person who rubs the horse's legs every single day. He used to be on the backside, so he understands what it takes to get a horse to win an American Classic.
Michael McCarthy was emotional talking about his help yesterday. I mean, he was emotional 2 weeks ago when he won the 8 Bells, and he talked about Ben Cecil, who was a very dear friend of his, and he took over the training of that horse. And it's so funny that he gets that horse for Redham, and Redham had Mopetism. It's just amazing how that all connects, but he was emotional about it. And, I'll tell you what, one thing I could say, though, the most dangerous place at the racetrack is now trying to get these horses into these winner circles when you have 5, 6 interests owning a horse. There's not enough leash.
We've seen it with Little Red Feather right here at Sandita and MyRacehorse.com.
It's really good. Nobody wants to be in a winner circle by himself, Tom. And to be in a winner circle with a good group of people in that type of situation, because and we know the renovations happening at Preakness after this year, so it was a monumental.
And Belmont.
Yeah, and Belmont. But Michael McCarthy, one of the good guys in the game, and it couldn't have happened to a better guy who's more intense than you could imagine.
Most people around the country don't know that basically the trainer for Rags to Riches leading up to the Triple Crown campaign when she beat Curlin in the Belmont was Michael McCarthy. She won the Sandita Oaks out here. He was with her every single day. Todd Pletcher, of course, was the trainer on record, but Michael was doing all the dirty work. We knew he was going to be a superstar. It was just a question of what he got really good horses. But it's been going on for a long time. City of Lights comes to mind, other runners as well. He's a world-class horseman.
He's a world-class horseman, but you can go further back, and Jack Van Berg had a guy named Bill Mott working underneath him.
They were in Chicago with me.
Yeah, and they were a kid from South Dakota, goes to work for the all-powerful Jack Van Berg barn, and look what he's done on his own, obviously Sovereignty, winning the Derby. And we're talking about the pedigrees. That horse yesterday, the Gosker that ran second, his half-sister's Harvey's Little Goyle, who's a grade 1 winner. So these pedigrees are important to pay attention to. You can catch a price just knowing pedigree. I'm going to talk about it in one of the races at Santa Anita today.
Gosker is a homebred, but sired by one of my favorite sires. Here's the Uncle Mo influence again, Nyquist. What a stallion Nyquist has turned out to be. Also circling back to Mr. Redham.
Well, let's talk about, I have one good broodmare left with some clients named Venetian Harbor.
I know who she is. We
bred to Gunrunner. Now we sold the Gunrunner at Saratoga for $700,000 filly, and then we bred to Curlin, and he's going to sell this year as a male yearling. We have an Into Mischief on the ground. He's another boy, and we just bred to Nyquist. And if you do the math on the Triple Crown so far, it's Into Mischief beating Curlin, and then Curlin beating Nyquist. So I think we're on the right track with those breedings, Tom.
We're always on the right track whenever we have equine scout Larry Zap as our seminar guest today. It all circles back to pedigree, and all the winners are right in the daily racing form. We're going to take a quick break, toss it over to track announcer Frank Mirabati, get the early changes on today's Pick 6 carryover card. And when we return, we'll find out who Larry likes on the program.
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to Santa Anita Park, the great race place where we have a $45,000 carryover in the pick six. The track is fast. The turf is firm. Rail on the turf at 10 feet. Here are the early changes. No changes in the first. No changes in the second. And we have a blinker note in race number 3. Middle pick 4 starts with the 4th. It's the Honeymoon Stakes, and there are no changes. Pick 6 starts with race 5. We do have that carryover, 45,000 plus. 1 Greta's goes 3 over. 8 Joyful Mischief, 2 pounds overweight. Race 6 starts the late pick 5 and all turf pick 3. No scratches or jockey changes in the 6th. In the 7, scratch number 1, Lord Tripping. Race 8, scratch number 12, Cano for the win. Late pick 3 starts with the 8th. In the 9th, scratch number 10, Vinny the Coin, late double. And the 10th race, super high 5 wagering offered. Scratch 10, Nima. Scratch 13, Comeback Girl. Scratch 14, Current Affair. Number 11, Harmonique will carry 2 over. And note that number 12 draws in. Enjoy your day at Santa Anita Park. 58 minutes to post for the opener, which will take place at 1 p.m. Let's go back to Quigley's Corner. His special guest today, equine scout, Larry Zap.
Welcome back. It's our pleasure to have our seminar guest today, equine scout Larry Zap. He's going to go through today's entire 10-race card, including the $45,000 pick 6 carryover, which starts in race number 5. But first things first, Larry, we kick things off in race 1 with the 50-cent early pick 5. This race is 1 mile on the turf course for Calbred, 3-year-old fillies, allowance optional claiming types, non-winners of 1 other than. We've got a field of 7, the morning line favorite, and the current betting choice at 4 to 5 is number 7, Kiku Ride. This is the first of 4 morning line favorites that jockey Juan Hernandez rides today. Welcome back to Southern California, Umberto Rispoli, who rides number 6. How about Pavel? How'd you see race 1?
Well, if you break down, I mean, obviously the 7 horse is going to be the horse to beat. Kiku Ride for Craig Lewis, a clubhouse ride that wins her 2nd race, first time stretch out. And she's going to get over bet today, and I'm definitely using her. But let's look at the 6 horse, How About Pavel? This is a horse that actually beat a filly we're running in the Honeymoon today, Me So Fancy, in her last race. Why? Because J.J. Hernandez was very clever that day and slowed the pace down. But if you really just look at her 2-turn grass races, all 4 of them are very good, Tom. And actually, yeah, there's 4 of them, and they're all very good. She's right there. When she gets to kind of control things, she's savage in the lane. She'll fight you off. And we thought we had her turning for home in that race on March 28th, but we could not get by her. So she's in for the 50 because she's already broken the condition. But I just think she's a tough horse to get by in the lane when she gets things her own way. And it looks like to me that she might be able to set the fractions today. So I picked it 6-7. How about Pavel being the better price? Rispoli, hopefully he's back from celebrating over Hernandez.
I know he's on his way back because he was on the plane, with both FanDuel Racing's Todd Schrupp and Dave Weaver. So if the plane's on time, he will be here for race number 1. Let's turn the page, Larry. Take a look at race number 2. Begins the 50-cent early pick 4. This time we're sprinting 6 furlongs in the main track. $20,000 is the claiming tag. Non-winners of 3 races. Lifetime is the condition. Field of 6. Number 2, Isabel Ludlow for trainer Mark Latt is the 6 to 5 morning line favorite. Thumbs up or thumbs down in race 2?
Well,
on the favorite.
I'm picking her 2nd because I just can't. I just don't like giving out 6 to 5 morning lines. And she's the horse to beat coming off her last race. If you look at her last race, a filly we used to race named Shop Tia Drop was 3rd when she was 2nd. But if you look at the 3 horse Toulouse de Track, her race 3 back, she beat Shop Tia Drop by even more. And when she is in the mood, she's capable of the fastest race.
That would be Toulouse de Track.
Yeah, Toulouse de Track. Her race 3 back. Then she just absolutely gets pressed the time after that and falls apart and gets beat 33 lengths. And last time he gave her, George Papadromo gave her a little freshening, and she battled on a fast pace. And she didn't finish that day and lost to Isabel Ludlow. I'm going to I'm gambling on the fact that she gets an easy lead. She gets her courage up. I don't know if she's a bleeder or what's the reason she stops all of a sudden, but when her 2 wins would beat this field. And if she runs either one of them, she's going to beat this field. So I went 3-2 in a short field here.
And to lose to track, if you're looking at the daily racing form past performances, has 2 career wins, as Larry mentioned. Both of them happened right here at San Anita over our main track surface. Race number 3, we're still sprinting 6 furlongs in the main track. This is an allowance optional claiming race for 3-year-old fillies, non-winners of one other than. A field of 7, number 4, Cash Call, with a Beyer speed figure that sticks out from the remainder of the field is the 4-5 morning line favorite. You a believer in the Beyer speed figures in terms of determining the favorite in race 3, Larry?
I believe when a 3-year-old filly goes 10 flat on this track, that's a pretty fast race. And
she was impressive.
It's just hard to deny that she's the horse to beat. But the interesting horse here is the 7-horse Sea Runner. This is a gun runner, and statistically, Tom, Gun Runner's been a terrible grass sire. And you ask yourself, why has all 5 of this horse's races been on turf?
I know why.
I was gonna quiz you, Tom, but they haven't. She is black type. She got stakes place. But tell our listeners why.
A nice other colt by the name of I'll let you say the name, trained by Tim Yakteen, who is basically.
Go ahead, Tom. I can't think of it right now. Johannes or something.
Yeah, it is Johannes, ridden by Umberto Rispoli. What a tiger he is, and that's the reason why they keep her on the turf. They're putting her on the dirt today. It's
the first time I've ever seen a gun runner run this often on the grass, and she handled it well. Now, Tim Yakteen is telling me and the fans that this comeback works have led him to believe, and you could see a minute and a fifth and a 59-3, that maybe she handles the dirt just fine. And it's a good spot to try it. It's a short field. She draws well. Rispoli keeps them out. He's been her only rider. And to me, she's the other horse in a pretty empty race if you're betting. And I'm glad it's not in today's Pick 6 carryover. 4-7 for me in race 3.
Quick question for you, Larry, on pedigree, since we've been focused on that for most of the seminar up to this point. It relates to the favorite in race 3, number 4, Cash Call. Her sire is McKinsey. He's a relatively new stallion. What is your impression so far of his progeny?
I'll tell you what, he battled for the first crop supremacy with Vekoma and Tis the Law last year, and Vekoma won at the very end of the year, but they bumped McKenzie's step fee to $75,000, and Vekoma was only $35,000. He's been well thought of since he's gone to stud. Baffert had him. He was probably better around one turn, but he got the second turn in a couple of situations. But you saw the Derby, and you know who ran third in the Kentucky Derby? A great mare out of Puka, but John Sheriff's horse, Baeza, is a McKenzie. And the fact that they bred that mare to McKenzie means the breeders in Kentucky have a lot of faith. I think the gamblers have a lot of faith. He's done really, really well, and I think he's going to continue doing well, but he's one of my favorite young sires.
On today's 10-race card, San Anita offers a 50-cent medal pick 4, which will begin in race number 4, and it's our feature race on the card, keeping it out of the pick 6 sequence, smartly so. It's the Grade 3 Honeymoon Stakes, going a mile and an eighth on the turf course for 3-year-old fillies. We've got a field of 6. Number 1, Jungle Peace, is the 6-5 morning line favorite. Before we get your thoughts on the race, Larry, we want to show a replay for a filly that you're very familiar with. This would be number 3, Me So Fancy. We want to show the replay of her last sprint effort. This was back on April 18th. When we watch the replay, she's going to be wearing saddlecloth number 4. And as you're watching this replay, if it brings back memories of watching journalism's performance yesterday in the Preakness, you'll understand why I say that, because as they turn for home, you're going to think there's no chance Me So Fancy can hit the finish line first, but in fact she does. So rather than listen to me babble about it, let's listen to Frank Miramati describe the action and watch the replay back on April 18th and watch Me So Fancy wearing saddlecloth number 4.
We're in the gate, and they're off. Nell's Legacy is very fast away from the gate. Cayucos in between horses, and Lava Lucy is quicker than both. And here's Lava Lucy flashing that sharp early zip to take command. Cayucos is now in second, with Nell's Legacy moving over to the rail, 3.5 off the pace in third. Here Is Hope is fourth, followed by Press Your Luck. Behind them, Chili Philly, and another 4 to stretch running Me So Fancy. Edwin Maldonado and Lava Lucy take him into the far turn. Leading it by a length over Cayucos in second. Cayucos now within a half length and pressuring the front runner. Press Your Luck is in third, and Nell's Legacy fourth. Then Here Is Hope, Chili Philly, and 2 more to Me So Fancy, who's just looking for a place to start rolling. They're at the top of the stretch, and Lava Lucy goes on, chased by Cayucos, who's 3 back second. Pressure Luck angles to the center of the course and is finishing very nicely. Here's Press Your Luck in the center of the race course, and from far back, Me So Fancy erupting from dead last, will blow by them all.
Larry, as we watch the gallop out 110 flat is certainly racehorse time, and as we just saw at the top of the lane, the 5-2 bettors that played Me So Fancy this particular afternoon had to be sweating bullets, but nevertheless, Umberto was able to find a seam and get her loose. You can see here, she certainly wants more than 6 furlongs. She's a homebred for an operation you're very close to, Ciaglia Racing. Talk to us first about the chances today of Me So Fancy.
Well, I think they're good. The speed numbers don't say so, but when she lost to, how about Pavel 2 back, it was a paceless race. And then this last time, she only got to run about 3/16 of a mile. And I think she's very capable. I mean, obviously, the 2 inside horses of her are the 2 to beat in this race. And I think her chances are very good. You know, her sister, her half-sister, who I bought before buying the mother, Chickaboo, won the Honeymoon with Mike Smith coming back in like 3 weeks, and we were 22-1 that day. And I'll never forget, that was a beautiful day. I want to say we also won the Honeymoon with Michael McCarthy, Paved.
Sure.
A horse I sold.
Eclipse Thoroughbreds.
Joe and I pinhooked. We sold to Eclipse, and we immediately bought back in for a leg. And it was a great experience being with them. The only filly to ever win the El Camino Real Derby. All that said, this filly, she's not quite where she's going to be because I really think she's maturing quickly. But we thought she deserved a chance at a graded stake. So we jumped out of the Calvert ranks for a second. And maybe this will lead us to Del Mar this summer, San Clemente, Del Mar Oaks. I think she sits behind the 1 and the 6 here. There's no doubt in my mind. The Jungle Peace, who's on a win streak, has done nothing wrong but has to prove herself at a distance of ground. Rispoli decides to stay there. As Catch Can is the horse I really am worried about. We actually ran a filly, Resolve, in that race, the Bourbonnette at Turfway. We didn't show up that day because we found the going too deep. But As Catch Can ran huge, and the filly that beat her was third in the Kentucky Oaks. So to me, she's the horse to beat. I'm just hoping we get that stock and trip. And when it's time for Hector Barrios to ask the question, we have Me So Fancy deliver the goods. I went 3-2 in here. Obviously, Jungle Peace is the horse to catch. I'm hoping the 6 Sheffield can go with that horse and put a little pressure on it, Tom.
A beautiful day gets more beautiful in race number 5. That's because that's when the fireworks begin. The $2 pick 6 begins with a $45,000 carryover. Race 5 is 6 furlongs in the main track. It's for Calbred fillies and mares, maiden special weights. It was written for fillies and mares, but all 9 runners are 3-year-old fillies. The morning line favorite, number 5, Tiger Fire from the Brian Corner barn at 3-1 on the morning line. Before we get your thoughts on the race, Larry, you wanted to show a workout for one of the first-time starters, courtesy of our friends at firsttv.com. We're able to do that. It's for number 7, Hurricane Layla. This is her most recent workout on May 10th. That's her on the outside. Tell us why you wanted to show this workout, Larry.
Well, first of all, Antonio Garcia is 0 for as many starters with first-time starters, according to the stat in the DRF. So I'm a little nervous about that, but he owns this horse. It was a horse guy he trains a lot of horses for, Paul Redham bred. So I don't know if he bought it privately, which he must have. But look at this filly right here. This guy had a lot of horse, could easily have ran away from the workmate. And he's been instructed, in my opinion. You saw the big grab right there, just to stay with the other horse. But you could see she's full of run. She's showing that grit, determination through her neck. You could just see she wants to go. And I think they've got her right where they want her. And I'm hoping she breaks, because Antonio Garcia up to now has not been a great first-time conditioner. But I think those kind of statistics are meant to be broke, Tom.
She made that quick, cat-quick-like move on the turn, which really caught my eye, Larry. And here's a little bit of pedigree information. The dam actually cost $310,000 at auction. She wasn't much of a race mare. She was 0 for 3 lifetime. But she's had 3 first-time starters. 2 of them have won. So she's hitting at a 75% win clip. There is precocity in this pedigree. She's 6-1. She's going to be on the morning line. She's going to be ridden by Raylu Gutierrez. There are things to like here. Is she your top pick in race 5?
She is my top pick, and you stole my thunder because I did a little pedigree research myself, but you're always on top of it, Tom. I picked her first, and then I kind of had a tough time picking a second horse. Both the 4 and the 5, both are Smiling Tigers with decent works on paper, but I went with Piety because of the broodmare sire. I think Rockport Harbor's are better than Tiz Now. It's just for precociousness. So I went 4 Royal Dusty for Mike Pipey, who's capable of getting a first-timer to win, but he's not known for it. I think this pick 6 is very difficult today. For our purposes, only giving me 2 horses, I went 7-4, but I'll tell you, I'll be in that paddock trying to spot the first leg, Tom.
You and I both, Larry, and I agree with you. The pick 6 is very challenging and difficult today. Let's take a look at the second leg of the pick 6. Also the beginning of the 50-cent late pick 5, as well as the $3 all-turf pick 3 with a reduced 15% takeout. We're spreading 6.5 furlongs on the flat turf course. This is a starter optional claiming race. We've got a field of 8. Number 6, Sharp as Attack, taking blinkers off, is the 5-2 morning line favorite. Before we get your thoughts on the race, Larry, you wanted to show a replay that 4 of these 8 runners in today's 6th race exit. This race was back on April 20th. It was won by What Makes Sammy Run, one of the main contenders in this field. So you're going to see What Makes Sammy Run, as well as Donchik and other horses running in this replay we're about to show you. But the one that you want to focus in on is the runner breaking from the rail in this replay. That would be One Flew South. One Flew South, in my opinion, and I think your opinion after you watch this replay, had a very sneaky, troubled trip. But you be the judge. Let's listen to Frank Miramati describe the action back on April 20th and watch One Flew South breaking from post position number 1.
And they're off. Carver had a bit of a stumble out of the gate, nothing too serious. Nero Tulip is going out to battle for the lead. And here's Carver. And Carver intent on getting to the front. Doncic 2 off the pace in third. That group is followed at the rail by Bob's Blue Moon. What Makes Sammy Run closer than usual, just 5 lengths off the lead. Then One Flew South, Irish Royalty, King Apollo in the purple in between those two, and Commander is 4 wide. Extremely compact field behind Carver, who leads the way into the far turn. Doncic a joint second outside Nero Tulip, and Bob's Blue Moon between those two. What Makes Sammy Run 5 off the lead. At the rail, One Flew South with Commander, then King Apollo and Irish Royalty. They have a 1/4 mile to go. Carver confronted by Doncic on the outside, and Doncic comes right to him now. Bob's Blue Moon in the center. Here's What Makes Sammy Run with his patented stretch kick. And from the back of the field, Commander is finishing with some interest. One Flew South between horses. What Makes Sammy Run takes off for the wire, and it's What Makes Sammy Run, a true professional.
Larry, What Makes Sammy Run is a true professional, but as we continue to watch the gallop out there, there's our good old friend One Flew South wearing the red saddlecloth, number 1, galloping out with the other runners as well. That replay we watched was 6 furlongs. Today's distance is 6.5. You like One Flew South best in race 6, don't you?
I'm picking the 10-1 morning line. He gets Kyle Frey for the first time today, but his distance record is 2 out of 4 wins. So he wants a little more distance to work with. He got bumped at the start there. He got held up about 3 different ways. You know, it's not going to be an easy race. He's breaking from the inside again. And What Makes Sammy Run is what Frank Miramati just said. He's a true professional. Doncic got cut by Pete Erden after claiming him last time, and Sorin takes him back. They're both going to show up here. And then Jeff Mullins gets number 6, Sharp as Attack, who didn't run good against much tougher. Fast Buck is a really fast horse, and he's dropping to a live spot for the owner, Les Blake. For Jeff Mullins, is just when he gets a horse, he's as good as they get at getting that horse to go to its peak of powers. I only get 2 slots here. I just mentioned 4 horses, but I'm going with the 10-1 shot because I got to get a $30 horse home one of these days in these seminars, Tom. Number 2, One Flew South for me. I went Sharp as Attack just because Jeff Mullins has the horse. Blinkers come off. It's a legitimate drop. Hard to leave, like I said, that professional What Makes Sammy Run, and even Doncic off. But that's what you give me. You give me 2 horses, I'm going 2-6.
Race number 7 begins the 50-cent late pick 4. We're sprinting 6 furlongs on the main track. This race is for Calbred allowance optional claiming types. Non-winners of 1 other than. There is 1 scratch. Scratch the 1. Lord Tripping leaves us with a field of 8. Number 5, Super Now from the Steve Knapp barn is the 5-2 morning line favorite. These later races don't get any easier, Larry. Who do you like and why?
Well, the severity, the toughness of who you run against matters to me. And if you look at the 4-horse Devil Among Us, 2 races back, the horse, that race would win this race. But then the horse gets tied into these really top horses. Positively is really consistent for George Papadromo recently. Momad just won on the stretch out for Sheriff.
Sure did.
That was a superiorly strong race. This horse drops back. Maldonado's on. You know they're their intention here, but I'm not picking the horse because I got to get myself a $25, $30 winner, Tom. I'm going with the 3 Carroll's Comic. This horse has never seen this type. If you look, broke its maiden for 20, went through the ranks of non-winners 2 life, non-winners 3 life, has never even tried this company on paper that I could see here, but she's strong and solid, and she's
she's in good form.
She's in good form, and I think that really with this is a 6-year-old gelding, I just think that translates really well. Lescano's been riding her really good. He's coming off a hard-fought win. 10-1 morning line. I gotta go with him. I went 3-4 here in another race that you can go really deep because this is a tough race.
Race number 8 begins the $3 late pick 3. The action continues with a reduced 15% takeout, and we kick off that wager going 1 mile on the turf course for maiden claimers. $50,000 is the claiming tag. Scratch the 1 also eligible, number 12. Cano for the win will not run in the race. That still leaves us with a good field of 11. The morning line favorite, the 5-year-old from the aforementioned Michael McCarthy Eclipse Thoroughbred Partners team, number 8 Nation at 9-5 on the morning line. This is a race, Larry, that I think is going to be a separator. You either like the favorite or you don't like the favorite. I'm not going to disclose quite yet what position I take, but I'm curious to see what you think of Nation in race 8.
Well, I didn't use him in my top 2 because
you're not trying to find another 25-1, are you?
I'm actually going for, I think, a 40-1 shot. No, I'm going for like a 20-1 shot here. But Nation, I mean, his turf races are good. If he duplicates his first 3 races, he's probably the horse to beat. A few years ago, I bought Big Reds and Ribeyes, the 1 horse. We lost the horse in 2024 via claim. Doug O'Neill had him for us. And he's a big, long striding horse who kind of was one of these horses that always needed to kind of fill into his large frame. I think he's going to ultimately be a better dirt horse. And Mike Pipey, I'm not going to question why he's coming back on the grass. I'd love the comeback race. It was just even. And he's a big stridey horse. He looks 2 turns. Ray Lou Gutierrez gets on him. He had trouble in his 1 turf route when we lost him back in January of 24. I just think if he could put it together, he's talented enough to take on this field and hopefully beat them 15-1 morning line. You've got to absolutely love it if you're me, because I'm looking for that price. And I went with the I don't have stats right now on Hector Palmer's recent claims over the last 9 months or a year, Tom, but they're pretty good.
We're just looking in the racing form without going farther back than the last 16 times. He's winning at a 44% win clip. He Liberace might be the 2 sharpest claiming trainers we have in Southern California.
Hard to leave that off. This horse is being bumped off the claim. He was in a maiden 32. He ran a nice second. He's got some sneaky grass form to him. He will make the last run. And first time Hector Palmer, and he gets Hector Barrios, who's probably riding the turf. And that's who's, by the way, is riding Me So Fancy for us today. I like this kid, and he's improved. Him and Ayuso are the 2 most improved riders around these parts. But I had to go those 2 horses. 1-4 for me in, like you said, maybe a make or break for your pick 6 type of race.
And Uncle Edvo not only is trained by a new conditioner, Hector Palmer, who does well first off the claim, but if you dig a little bit deeper in the race he got claimed out of for maiden 32, he actually lost to a maiden 50 claiming dropper. So I have a feeling that's why Hector Palma has another reason why he has so much confidence boosting him up in class. And as you mentioned, Larry, the jockey certainly doesn't hurt either. Race number 9 begins the $5 late daily double, also with a reduced 15% takeout. This is a restricted $5,000 claimer. Scratch the 10, still leaves us with a head scratcher field of 9, and number 9, Brother O'Brien, is the 5-2 morning line favorite. Talk to us about race 9, Larry.
Okay, I'm breaking a rule of yours. Never look back, but we were running Glass of Jameson, a homebred in that last race.
Yes,
and if I don't mention him and he wins it and pays $72.
I had an asterisk there to ask you about
but if he wins and pays $72, people are going to say, oh, you did that to us. Huh?
You did it on purpose.
He's a 3 versus older. He hasn't put it together. He's still learning the game. I'm going to use him on a deep ticket because I never leave out a horse that I'm involved in. His mother was a runner. She's a Milky Ways by Clubhouse Ride. He's supposed to be better than show. Let's jump over to this 5 claimer. Tom, I need help here. I really do. I mean, these races here. Okay, let's Brother O'Brien I picked because it's Jeff Mullins and because the horse that beat him by 10 last time almost won the starter race yesterday.
Tough post. Yeah,
very tough boats.
Contrary Chieftain was first off the claim for Liberace.
And he almost won.
Beat at 35-1.
His buddy Dennis Garrity got the upper hand on
him. On the rail.
But they're 2 good buddies, and they both do a great job. But Brother O'Brien, just because, okay, you lost by 10, but I just think he's in a good spot. These are his friends. The horse is very good at the distance. I mean, 2 wins, 2 seconds, and 3/3 and 9 tries, so he almost always hits hard. at that distance, this level, most definitely. And to me, the horse to beat is the 3 horse who just got claimed by, if people don't know, Tamayo is, I don't even know how to say his name. Isidoro?
Isadora Tamayo.
Okay, Isidoro Tamayo. I don't know, but I watched him win a lot of races in Northern California. He claims the horse. The horse stumbled last time and was eliminated. The race before makes this horse the horse to beat. And, these are 5 claimers, and they're helping us fill races, and actually been good betting races. And I never know I go down to the paddock for these kind of races to try to spot something with a pulse. And I went 9-3 with my 2 slots here, but I think it's a tough race.
We close out the day, and we close out the week, and we close out the pick 6 in race number 10. Also offering $1 super high 5 wager when we're sprinting 6.5 furlongs in the flat turf course for maiden special weight fillies and mares. Scratch the 10 and 2 of the also eligibles, 13 and 14. 10, 13, and 14 will not compete in race number 10. But however, number 12 does draw into the body of the field. Number 9, Sunglow from the John Sadler barn, is the 9-5 Maury line favorite. If you thought the first 5 legs of the pick 6 today, Larry, was tough, I thought this was maybe even the toughest leg to close it out with.
It just might be. I was given Sunglow by a Sharpie who knows a Sharpie who says this horse is the biggest single on the card, and I didn't use it in my top 2. And I see it's got speed, but it blew a 46-2 lead last time and didn't get the job done. So I'm going to try to beat this horse. I went with the rail horse. I'm usually anti-rail sprinting on a turf, but that long shoot, there is a lot of time to get off that rail. Madonna of Laredo has been working at Los Al, and I've seen a bunch of the works because we have a filly named Queen Kimbe, who are bringing back off of 1 race with Phil D'Amato. Maddocket bred it, and we bought in as a yearling. And this filly kind of was the better of the 2 fillies in many, many workouts, and she looked like she was doing really well. And look what their intent was. After a nice, even debut, they went right to a stake with her.
Look who they lost to. Little Red Feather, Thought Process. Yes. Really nice 2-year-old filly.
That was their other horse. But the fact that they thought enough of this horse, and I've seen some of the works, and look at the 59 gate work. And if Fred Zoo can negotiate the rail trip, I think 9-2 is a very, very fair price. And then my pedigree play is the number 8 horse, Arrow Garcia, going for a Legacy Pete at Legacy Ranch.
They stepped out and spent almost $500,000 for this daughter of Arrogate.
Her 3-year-old sister is a horse named Into the Fray, and a friend of mine in Kentucky bought the horse, and I actually got my client Dominic Savitas to own part of Into the Fray, and she won first time out for us. 5.5 at Ellis last year as a 2-year-old filly, and then she won a starter race on Thanksgiving Day where Dom crushed pick 6. Shout out Dom Savitas, but she's just coming back now. So I know the mare is very, very capable of throwing an early runner. And even though it's an Arrogate, if you go to XBTV, her works have been really solid. I don't know if the intent is to try to win this race or just get a good race in her, but they waited long enough to have a 4-year-old make the races. Why not go for it? And I think if they, these turf 6.5 turf sprints allows a closer a little more than I think the 6 furlong races. Kimura is a go-to guy for Tim Yakteen. The price is beautiful, 12-1. I probably should have picked her trying to get that $30 horse, but I went 1-8 because I have confidence that the 1's really live today.
Larry, you're always a wealth of knowledge whenever you're on the seminar. I certainly learned a lot of things today just listening to you. So thanks so much for the time and insight. Hope you pick a lot of winners, multiple $30 winners at that. And we'll do it again.
I would love it to do it again, Tom. Thanks for having me.
Before we go, one more wager to consider, the $1 Coast to Coast Pick 5. Did you see what it paid yesterday? The $1 Coast to Coast Pick 5 yesterday, underneath the radar on Preakness Day, paid $20,000. Today's your chance to get a cut of that pie as well. As you can see, 3 races from San Diego, but it begins with Gulfstream Park, race number 8 at 1:36 p.m. Pacific time. Hope everybody has a great afternoon. Thanks so much for watching. Good luck on the Pick 6 and all your other wagers. We'll do it again next Friday. Thanks again, everybody. Have a great afternoon.
Ladies and gentlemen, please rise for our national anthem. Good afternoon and welcome to Santa Anita Park, the great race place. The track is fast, the turf is firm. Track conditions brought to you by John Deere. The rail on the turf out 10 feet. Here are the changes. No changes in the first. No changes in the second. No scratches or jockey changes in the third. No changes in the fourth, the honeymoon. There's a special middle pick 4 that starts with race 4. $2 pick 6 begins with race 5. There is a carryover of $45,806. Number 1, Greta's Ghost, 3 pounds over. 8, Joyful Mischief, 2 pounds overweight. In the 6th race, all turf pick 3 starts. 7th race, scratch number 1, Lord Tripping. Race 7, take out the 1. In the 8th, scratch the also eligible 12, Cano for the win. In the 9th, scratch number 10, Vinny the Coin. And there's super high 5-wagering in race 10. Scratch 10, Nima. Note that number 11, Harmonique, is 2 over. Scratch 13 and 14, Comeback Girl and Current Affair. Note that number 12 will run, drawing in. Those are the changes on today's card. The Coast to Coast Pick 5 is offered once again, paid more than $20,000 yesterday. It combines races from Gulfstream Park and Santa Anita Park. It starts today with Gulfstream's 8th. They'll be at the gate for the 1st at the Great Race Place in 27 minutes at 1 p.m. Enjoy your afternoon.